You know that song that plays on loop in an ice cream truck? I'm over that song.
The guy in front of me in yoga class sweated profusely all over the part of the mat where I put my face.
Now that Halloween's over, I don't have to listen to Monster Mash anymore. But Grandma got run over by a reindeer right around the corner.
How about when your 95-year-old landlord, who can't hear a thing, doesn't understand when you're asking for your deposit back?
Have such a good day.
Boo! Welcome to the scariest episode of Have Such a Good Day.
Thank you, Heather, for speaking English. It's Halloween, at least when we're recording this episode, and so I got a little ahead of myself. It's funny. I am actually not a Halloween person, but Heather, you are
very much not. Yeah, I spent all weekend at Halloween parties.
I
actually.
know. I was with you for some of it.
Yeah, you were.
I love your enthusiasm for the craft.
I do. Well, I think I grew up watching horror movies, and I think I love like mythical creatures, and I don't know, maybe, and I did love Halloween when I was a kid, and I think dressing up as sort of an alter ego can be super fun because you become you become someone different for a night, and there's something really fun about that.
I get that. At the same time, I feel like I'm like, the makeup will like make me break out.
Sure. That does happen.
The costume won't be like as comfortable as my indoor pants if I just stayed home. Well, and so on and so on. Because I'm a Scrooge McDuck when it comes to Halloween.
You are. But I think that you could do something where your costume is pajamas and like you're like a kid in pajamas or something. And you could do something super comfortable.
I did more than 1 year in a row. I went as a baby.
You did?
Because it was
I don't think I knew you then.
It was before, it was during college or something like that.
Yeah, it must have been.
It was a onesie, with sort of like just sort of flannel, whatever.
Did you have a big pacifier?
Well, it was a bottle.
I got to see this picture.
Which was obviously beer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just a baby.
No nipple? You weren't sucking off a nipple or anything?
It was a bottle. Yes. No, I didn't have someone posing as my mother who was breastfeeding. That would have been a little bit much.
Did you have those pajamas that drop the drawers in the back?
No, you just had to unzip the whole thing. Not unlike a dress.
Yes, no, this is true.
But yeah, it was like they had like the like little footies that were
I
part
get
of it.
That sounds really fun.
And the reason I did it was because I'm like, I still have that thing. It's pretty comfortable.
And then you go home and you go to bed and you don't have to do anything
because you're a baby.
It's kind of I'm impressed. It's also horrifying, but so this weekend I was actually 2 different costumes. I was some kind of I don't know, like Egyptian goddess, like an Egyptian warrior that was sort of maybe an old school looking Wonder Woman costume. It was sort of a combo costume, but it was really fun. It was a friend of mine's, and I wasn't planning on wearing it, so it was actually kind of a nice surprise. And then on Saturday, it was really fun. I was Pris from Blade Runner, who I've done before. Super easy, super comfortable.
Now, I thought you were going to be Debbie Harry.
I was going to.
Between the time that I left,
I know,
and you went to your party, things changed.
This is me. I literally I'll have 5 different things that I could be, and then I'm constantly changing my mind. So I just decided that the thing is, at the end of the day, I do like to be something sort of scary.
Okay.
I think that is, it's just something that I enjoy. Anyway, want to tell you guys about our bonus topic before we get too off the rails here.
And what's a bonus topic, Heather?
The bonus topic is for $5 contributors or more. You get an extra topic at the end of the show. So you leave the show rolling and we talk about something a little deeper, a little more personal, intimate, uncomfortable.
And when Heather says $5, we're talking about $5 per month. This is our Patreon model. If you're not familiar, go to patreon.com/havesuchagoodday. You'll find out a lot more about some of the milestones we're working towards, some of the goals that we have, and how the community-based model is working for us, and how you can be part of the deal and get extra perks in the meantime.
It's super cool. We're like a sweet little family. And
we are a sweet little family, and in
fact,
fact,
you should become part of it.
Yeah, without because it's all sort of personal. Some of the stuff that happens in our Discord, and it's only for the people that are in the Discord. So I'm not going to talk about it in any detail. But I love you guys that are in there. It's really nice to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm a big fan of making internet friends that I wouldn't come across in real life
You
otherwise.
definitely have a history of doing that.
A lot of internet
Yeah.
friends, and I love this medium for that because I like people, but I'm just not gonna see y'all otherwise.
Yeah, no, it's
So
true.
This is the way that we can all become a little bit closer.
And it's an interesting dynamic. It's like you're not seeing each other every day. In fact, a lot of these people live in other states and other countries.
Oh yeah.
But that's what makes it so cool is like maybe we would have never met otherwise. So it's like bringing people together that you might not meet on the street or meet among your friends. And it's kind of a fun little group of, it's all very, it's a very sweet thing.
And our ultimate goal with Have Such a Good Day, even though this is a fun thing that Heather and I would probably do to the end of our days, just because we've got a couple
We're
mics,
like old ladies,
all we need is
like
2 mics, but really our real aim here is to create a community of folks who like the show and want to see more of it, and even expand into offshoots, all sorts of good stuff. Like if the community comes, we will do your bidding.
We'll become a media empire. We hope to become rich and famous. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really, like we do want this to have a bigger reach, and that's what we're kind of working on behind the scenes right now, is trying to figure out how we can get it out to more of a mainstream audience. And any sort of, I know you guys are telling your friends, and word of mouth helps a lot. We've noticed that it has helped. So yeah, continue doing that, and we love ya. So if you haven't joined as a $5 contributor, maybe this bonus topic will put you over the edge.
What is the bonus topic, Heather?
Well, this one won by kind of a landslide. I posted a poll on Monday, and this, are you ready for this?
I am.
What life decision or path that you chose or didn't choose do you regret the most?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
kind of a heavy
dark.
one.
Yeah.
Because regret usually is, sometimes it's something that can bring you down for the rest of your days.
For sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to take the rest of the show to kind of think about what the bonus topic is. For everybody else, if you're listening, wonderful. Give us a nice review on iTunes. If you're watching, you might say, well, I have never seen that kitchen in the back before. That's because we're in my new apartment.
We are. It's so exciting. This is the first inaugural episode in Sarah Lane's new pad.
It is.
It's really nice.
Thank you very much. It needs a lot of work. As you probably noticed, like it's very hospital-like behind us right now because my apartment is quite white. The kitchen counter's white, the walls are white, everything, stainless steel, and my furniture is light, and I need to home it up a little bit, but we're in here, and the worst is over, and I really like it. I really like it.
I can see a spring in her step. I think it's been a good thing.
Thank you. All right, so let's talk about what's been going on over the last week besides moving. Now that we've both finished moving, we can stop talking about moving all the time. So I found, and you obviously know about this because you already lived here. And I'm not going to say the name of it just so, we can keep a little, something to the imagination about where exactly we live. But the bookstore that's down a couple blocks down.
I know which one you're talking about.
Dog friendly, also a coffee shop, really good book selection, really good sort of like slam poetry readings a night. I love this space. I'm very excited.
It's amazing.
And I realized that in my last neighborhood, as much as I enjoyed living at the beach and, the ocean and blah, 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 I didn't have a bookstore anywhere near me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not that common anymore.
I thought about it.
It's not that common anymore.
But having one that's like kind of hopping on a Sunday night, and everyone's sort of, looking through books and I don't know.
Honestly,
it made me so happy.
Bookstores are kind of like a safe haven for me. Like I will literally seek one out
bomb
just
shelter.
to sort of like on a Sunday, and all I want to do is browse a bookstore. There's something so, and the only one that was near me was like a Barnes and Noble, which is, it's okay, but there's something about an independent bookstore that just, I feel at home. There's something that is, it's just cozy, and it makes me feel less alone in the universe.
And there's just so many books on display that, I'm not trolling, like the New York Times bestseller list.
No.
I just don't, like, books come and go, and I'm not going to know about them.
Yeah.
I kind of have to go into a dead tree bookstore. It's one of those things where it's like, and I don't want to go into something that's like owned by Amazon when it comes to this. Well, or maybe I do. Who knows? That's different though. This is a whole different thing.
Totally agree.
It's a community. It's like a community center.
It really is, because it's borderline a library, because you have like, and you get, I love those bookstores that have these staff picks and they write like the little blurbs about the books that they're reading.
Sure.
And,
yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. They were talking about, on NPR the other day about just, will libraries always exist, and do they deserve to exist? And it was a really interesting conversation. And
I think they definitely deserve to exist.
Definitely. And that's what most of the people were saying. But I agree. It's a refuge, if you will.
So yeah. So I'm into the mom and pop bookstore.
I love it.
Hardcore. And I look forward to...
You're very hardcore.
Thank you. Showing you all of the weird coffee table books I'm about to buy at this bookstore because... I don't know. I need some new books.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I have a funny little thing. So, man, I just got to talk about my kitchen sink.
Okay.
I got to tell you about how
what's going on,
freaking amazing my kitchen sink is.
I was going to say, like, are you going to complain about it? Because it's a very nice sink.
No, I have like literally the best thing. And the reason why I want to talk about this, I know that sounds like a boring topic, but there are so many subtleties to the way things work. It's like, the way something is engineered, like maybe you have a shower that has bad water pressure and it's kind of frustrating because it kind of drips and it doesn't really give you that full, like, wonderful shower experience. Well, my last kitchen sink had the most lackluster water pressure, so you couldn't really clean anything. You had to really get in there with a sponge to get anything off because it was dripping.
There just wasn't the pressure wasn't there.
No, and you couldn't really clean the sink because there was no, like, you had to take
it wasn't like there was like a...
No, you had to take a cup and like put water down the sides to get all the stuff down the sides. It was just a whole situation. Anyway, so this kitchen sink is just blowing my mind because it's like, it's so beautiful.
It's a nice sink.
Yeah, and so it has awesome pressure, but
what do you call it? Is it slate?
I would say it's like a black slate. So that's actually interesting. I've never had.
Very fancy.
Yeah, it is fancy. Oh, and oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna save the best for last. But so you can move the nozzle around, so and great pressure to just get all the stuff around the sink, like the edges. Mm-hmm. It works so beautifully. And have you ever seen a disposal button it's not a light switch? You know how, like, it's so funny, most disposals are a light switch and you get confused and you turn on the light instead of turn on the disposal. Mm-hmm. Well, this is a button. It's like a neat little button.
Same one.
It's so cool.
Same one.
I love it. I've never seen that before, so maybe I'm living under a rock, but Heather, I think it's so cool.
Heather, for anybody snickering, Heather and I are now joining the land of the living. She has a Samsung fridge. I have an LG fridge, but the exact same fridge, kind of like smartphones.
Yeah, kind of.
And there are little
the
things.
The Internet of Things, man.
You said to me the other day, you're like, oh my God, garbage disposal. It's like this, just like this little, you just kind of press it. I'm like, yeah.
Hey man, it's all about the simple pleasures. I'm telling you.
Simple.
It does.
Pleasures.
It makes me happy.
Well, so here's what doesn't make me happy, and I think this is a good way to kick off. The overall theme of our show, like I mentioned before, we're shooting this on Halloween, but we talked about this last week. Like, why don't we do a theme show?
Yeah.
And when we say theme show, it's a loose theme.
Yes.
But it's all sort of the theme of, okay, well, it's Halloween, nightmares, scary. We actually talked about nightmares on the last episode. If you haven't caught up on episode 16, you can really get into our head.
Scary animal nightmares.
Scary animal nightmares galore. But I thought that I would kick us off with a list of things that are real.
Yeah.
So this is not supernatural stuff. This is not monsters. This is not vampires. This is not zombies. This is real life
reality
stuff that terrifies me.
Yeah.
I will start with food. I like all food. I eat a lot of food. I consider myself a garbage receptacle.
Yeah, I would say that.
For the most part. Unless there's watermelon, in which case I don't like bacon, but I mean, if I eat bacon by accident, life will not end. If I eat watermelon, life will end.
Okay, so tell me about this watermelon thing, because I knew this about you. So is it the texture? Is it the flavor?
The taste.
Oh, it's a flavor.
It's the taste.
Okay.
Texture doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I'm not a texture weirdo. Watermelon the fruit bothers me.
Did you always hate it? Like
Always.
as a kid?
I've never liked
interesting.
it.
I wonder if you're like allergic or something.
I don't know. But Ryan Vance hates it too. And we've talked about this. This is a mutual friend of ours. Hello, Ryan. Okay, so that's my food. If watermelon's in a fruit salad, I'm terrified. I'm out of there.
Done.
I'm not really terrified if I know it's there because I can avoid it. But if I eat it,
You have an
then
aversion to it.
I have to brush my teeth.
Sure.
I hate it.
Yeah.
One of the more sort of
Hardcore.
disturbing and hardcore things to worry about, that's a real thing, flesh-eating bacteria.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who isn't scared of that?
Everyone should be. And I know that it's like...
That should have been on my list, actually.
One
That's a good one.
you're sort of like, well, but like, who's getting that? Well, not that many people, but it happens
It
very
does happen.
randomly.
It does. And that's
The story is always, I just like ate, a coconut, and then I had to get my leg amputated.
Oh yeah, that's why I'll never bungee jump, because of that story about the girl bungee jumping into that river.
And she got a flesh-eating bacteria. Yeah. So
Like I will never bungee jump.
how
because of
about
that.
no? All right. So flesh-eating bacteria across the board, very terrifying. Next one, tsunamis. I've talked about this before. I now live very far from the ocean, so even if there were a tsunami that like devastated LA, probably wouldn't get.
You'd have some time to run.
Even within 10 miles of us?
I don't know, because that's interesting, because I wonder, they move pretty fast. So if you think about, it's not even that far.
We're 19 miles in.
19.
Trust me, I've done some research. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just curious, like I want to do some calculations, because I would be really curious how fast the ones like in Thailand have moved.
Sure.
But I mean, you have a little bit more time to like figure it out.
I have a lot more time. I still find tsunamis to be one of the scariest things. And I know that I kind of joke about it, but I also think that truly the entire time I lived at the beach, I was afraid of tsunamis every day.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that was every day for 3 years. Like, there's something about that.
That's so interesting that you would gravitate to the beach.
Even if it just crossed my mind briefly, it always did.
Actually, speaking of, I came across a story today that was talking about the things that you want in life are the things that you're most scared of.
Ooh.
It's a weird dichotomy, I think, like the human mind. It's like you are drawn to things that like
frighten
are also,
you.
Yeah, that frighten you.
Yeah.
Well,
because there's probably like a serotonin rush or dopamine or something like that.
I find it interesting that you were compelled to live at the beach when I actually think that people tend to want what they're frightened of. Like it's a weird thing about the brain.
It's a strange. I definitely, and again, I left this particular place that was literally right on the ocean after several years. And when I first moved in, I'm not even kidding. I was like waking up in a panic, like the tsunami. Like,
were you like, what have I done?
Well, just like, what's the tsunami like alert sound?
Yeah.
I need to know like what that is, and then like. I'll still die, but I still want to know, I want to like try my best.
I'm sure
maybe
it's very
to like
loud.
Climb up to the roof. Right, but they never did any tests. Anyway, tsunami talk. I could go on and on, but it really was, sort of, I had a friend who was like, Sarah, just enjoy the beach. You're like creating this weird thing. So that you don't enjoy this wonderful, beautiful place that you're living in, which is true.
I'm sure it's a little bit of a, like, we all have our, not paranoia, but, or like a sort of, we're a little maybe OCD about certain things. And, I get that. I mean, we all have those things that we're afraid of, and they're irrational fears. I mean, let's be honest. Some of these are irrational fears.
They're irrational except for the fact that tsunamis actually exist.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so rounding out my real life things that terrify me, spiders. And I am not alone. Arachnophobia is a thing for a reason. And I love animals. I think I love animals more than the average person. I like rats. Don't even particularly hate cockroaches as long as they're not in my toilet. Don't have a problem with pigeons. Never have. Yes, they're dirty street birds. But you know what? It's our fault that they're eating our garbage because we're the ones who leave the garbage out.
It's definitely our fault.
There's nothing wrong with a pigeon. They're a bird. They fly through the air. It's a miracle.
And they have like that metallic, feather thing going on, which is kind of cool.
They got all sorts of colors. Love a good
pigeon.
A pigeon, yeah. Or even a buzzard.
I love all the dirty city animals.
Heather and I saw the possum last week, and Yeah, I thought it was real cute.
Your heart went out to him.
It's like a rat, but bigger. I like them.
And white and red eyes.
Don't even care. I think they're adorable with their little
They are
snouts.
actually pretty cute.
However, spiders, no.
I'm with you.
I'm not cool with spiders. Daddy long legs, I understand. Maybe this is a wives' tale that like they're actually poisonous, but they just never bite.
Oh, daddy
so
long
it's
legs?
Like,
Oh, really?
Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody like told
I
me
heard that
I
they
don't know if
eat
that's
other
true.
spiders.
Well, they certainly eat small little
I
gnats
hear they're
and
good.
stuff. Well, you don't see a lot of them in LA.
You see them in the Bay Area. Well, I grew up with a lot of daddy long legs, and
Oh my God,
those
same.
are the ones that I'm almost okay with because my dad always told me that they're good spiders, that they eat the bad stuff, you know.
I am with you. I always had them. Yeah, you always see them in a corner of a sort of dark room or whatever, or even in a bathroom or whatever. Never really cared about daddy long legs. All other spiders can go to hell.
Oh my God.
And I know that they are part of the ecosystem.
Sure.
I don't even want to kill them because I don't like killing anything, but I'm fearful of them.
Oh, I'm
my
same.
worst nightmare is, I don't like mosquitoes, but I'm not afraid of them.
Yeah.
If a mosquito and I are trapped in a small room together, the buzzing will bother me.
And you'll
the
try to kill
biting
it.
will bother me, and I'll try my best to kill it because mosquito is just like worthless. But a spider will actually like drive me out of the room.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
Me too.
I can't deal.
I'll freak out.
I just can't.
In fact, the other day I found a new spider that's probably native to Los Angeles that I've never seen before. And I had a moment where I was really scared. I was kind of like itching my arms.
What kind of spider is it?
Okay, I'll tell you what it looks like in case you see one around here. Because the problem is I Googled it. You don't want to do that because then you see super scary close-up photographs of
And
spiders.
They have like real faces.
You know,
it's
they
too
really
much
do.
for
And
me.
they have like 8 eyes, some of them.
I can't. And like sometimes like fangs.
Sometimes they are a thing of beauty. When you look up close, you're like, wow,
They're
biology
a thing of beauty,
is incredible.
but I don't want to be near them.
Me neither. I don't
I'm
care how beautiful
terrified
they are.
of them.
Oh yeah. So this one was a really small, and it was orange. It had orange fur on it, and it was
fur.
it was really creepy.
the
But it was
fur.
small. But it was also looked poisonous because it was like orange. I know. Seriously, I saw one on my
Like
door.
I want to take a shower.
I know. I feel the same way.
An orange furry spider.
I'm actually a little worried because I was so close to it. I'm like, what if this is a thing? Like I need to find out if they're poisonous. You know. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Same. I have the
fur.
same
So that's
bee and
like,
spider fear.
I think that like the sort of like epitome of like scary spiders, the tarantula, right?
Oh yeah.
People have tarantulas as pets.
I have a friend who loves spiders as pets.
I'm not saying that all tarantulas, it's like a pit bull, right? It's like they're not all scary. Some of them are
It's
very
true.
nice.
Very true.
But there's something about like the fur's the first problem I have.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because I'm like, you're a reptile, but you're not.
And you have 8
you're
legs.
You're an arachnid, but you have fur. And like, have you ever like killed a spider? I try not to, but it has happened. And it's like, you can almost feel like their organs crunching.
Oh, totally.
And it's like,
that's how
I
can't
it's
kill
like,
a cockroach.
It's like,
'cause-
like no wonder people get addicted to opioids.
Oh no.
That's
Something to just numb the pain.
something to numb the pain of the fact that like that spider had a skeleton. Just awful.
Oh no, that is disgusting. I'm at the edge of my seat though. What's your 5th fear?
My 5th fear, this one's easy. I don't know what's going on with cars.
Me neither.
If you open the hood of my car and you say, Sarah, change your oil, or, show me what the, point to the engine, or the, thing that like keeps the AC going, I will just run screaming.
Yeah.
I hate everything about it. It's terrifying.
I actually love that visual of you just like throwing your arms up.
Yeah. And it's always like covered in grease.
Yeah.
I
feel the same way.
Anything under the hood of my car, terrifying. I don't want to know. And kudos to everybody who will change my oil for me. I will pay you
that'd be
handsomely
amazing.
because it's
I don't know.
it's not happening.
Maybe that's a Patreon tier.
pistons. People say, oh, the pistons.
All the belts.
The
and-
fan belts.
Well, this is why I lease cars, because then I don't have to deal with anything. I don't have to
Exactly.
change my oil. I
Because
don't
it never
have to do
really ever
anything.
it never really
No,
goes
they do it
kaput
for you.
because because or you get a new one. All right, Heather. So that was my nightmarish
I love
scenario
it. Well,
of
I
real life.
have some similar. Well, I'm actually surprised that you or I really have any airplane nightmares, because like we've talked a lot about, having specific nightmares up in the sky, being
Sure.
claustrophobic.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I have one that's kind of can refer to an airplane, but mine are, I have had reoccurring actual nightmares about this, but I would say one of my ultimate nightmares is I find myself, I wake up or I come to, and I'm like treading, I'm like doggy paddling in the middle of the ocean where you can't see any land. And I'm not the best swimmer. I mean, I'm athletic. I'm a good runner. Like I'm strong. I have endurance, but swimming is not my thing.
Mine either.
And I can swim. I mean, I can do all the strokes. I can swim, but I get out of breath pretty easily. So to me, treading water in the middle of the ocean with sharks
Right, like
circling under my feet.
Yeah, you're prolonging your own death.
Oh my God. I mean, that the anxiety, I mean, beyond anxiety, whatever is beyond anxiety, I'm not really sure. But like that to me is the ultimate, like, I just can't. And so, but the weird thing is, I really like those movies that are like shark movies, or being like, there was a movie recently
Like
where
open water wasn't that? Yeah.
There was another one called Adrift recently that was a couple that was out, on a sailing, a sailboat.
Never watched that.
See, but I have it's this weird dichotomy. It's like, that is my biggest fear, but
You're drawn to it.
I'm drawn to it because
Yeah.
it kind of gives me this weird excitement.
Yeah.
Super weird. Obviously finding a piece of a hazelnut in a salad
Because
or
you're
like a dessert,
allergic.
because I'm allergic.
Now, and you're allergic to, and probably a lot of nut allergy people out there can relate. Like you're allergic to the point where like you have to have like an EpiPen.
Yes,
if
I've
you
been
have
EpiPenned.
hazelnuts.
Well, I mean, I have had situations where I've had a little bit of hazelnut and I don't have to get rushed to the hospital, but there's cases if you're in heat, like if you're outside and it's hot and you're not in heat, you're not actually in heat.
You're not ready to be mounted.
That actually reminds me,
the dog park.
really quick little sidebar. The first thing I said in French to my French boyfriend when I lived in Paris, I said something about being on my way to like meet them. But what I said was I was in heat. And this is early on in my French, understanding how to speak. So, but yeah, I did have an experience at Bouchon in Vegas where the woman, the waitress made a mistake with my mousse, and I did have a reaction, but I didn't need to be EpiPenned. It wasn't that bad, but I've had a reaction when I've gone running after eating hazelnuts. And when you get hot, what happens is the heat goes into your pores and it spreads it and it makes it really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how bad my allergy is anymore, honestly, because anyway, I don't know, it's not like the worst thing in the world,
hazelnuts,
but
screw
it
you.
will kill me.
And so no hazelnuts for Heather. Although it's interesting how many things that are chocolate actually have hazelnuts in them.
And
it's something you have to think about.
Well, so many
because I'm
people-
not allergic, so I don't care. But it's in a lot of ingredients.
And it's like hazelnut flour. Like I remember asking someone they called it an almond cookie. The label said almond cookie. And I asked, is there any hazelnuts in there? Nope. It's an almond cookie. There was hazelnut flour. So a lot of people aren't informed. But I will say that
You should name your firstborn Hazel.
I know. No, that's one of my favorite names.
It's a good name.
It's a great name because I have hazel eyes too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's my.
I think I would call your eyes greener than hazel.
Really?
Yeah.
They used to be more hazel when I think I was younger,
They're
like
hazel
darker.
green.
Yeah,
They're hazel green. Same as mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good color. So also, and this is not as bad as like being circled by sharks in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it's all relative. But so sitting in a confined place, such as an airplane, like sitting next to someone who's wearing like way heavy, terrible perfume.
Ooh, yeah.
I have a very strong sense of smell.
That's tough stuff.
And you would think, oh, well, isn't that great? You can smell pasta sauce when it's cooking, and it's just a wonderful, a sensory experience. But you know what? It isn't. I would give it away in a heartbeat. I don't like having a strong sense of smell because I am very sensitive to, people's perfumes and body odors and whatnot.
A friend of mine the other day, we were walking down to a coffee shop, and we walked, it was sort of like kind of by an alley where, there was just sort of like a pungent garbage odor. It sort of like, whoa, oh my God. And then, you keep walking and it goes away. And I was like, what is that? What is this evolutionary thing where we know that certain smells are bad?
That is interesting.
What does it mean? Does it mean that we, at the very minimum, if we were stranded on an island, we would know not to eat that because it's like decomposing and therefore like bad for you?
Sure.
Because otherwise, why?
Why
does
a
anything
garbage
smell bad?
Well, I think it's interesting, like with wine, for example. I think you were at my house the other day, and I told you I had this white wine that smelled like gasoline when you first, the nose.
Right.
And I don't love the smell of gasoline, but I liked it in the wine. Like, it has like, I think, because you're seeing the garbage, you're associating the smell with the garbage probably, or like the grimy street. Maybe there's a visual association.
But okay. Here's my, this is getting a little weird, but like, so like, let's say you have like a big, very, really good organic vegetable based dinner.
Sure.
And later on, you got some gas. Why does it smell bad? What is the point?
I've heard.
What is the point of that?
You're right. I've heard that the healthier you are, the healthier food that you eat, the more stinky it is.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe it's like
it
nutrients.
It just doesn't make sense to me though, because it's like it's a negative feeling. Like you're not happy about that. You're not happy that it exists.
I think you should Google it.
And nobody else is going to be happy about it either.
I'm really curious about Googling it.
I don't want to be docked for being healthy,
You're going to be docked. I'm going to dock you. So I am also my spider fear. We've talked about this.
We share a fear of spiders.
I know that at a young age, spiders affected me a lot because when I was being babysat, I remember there was a big black spider in my room and it really freaked me out and it was this whole situation. But one of my big fears with spiders is because I don't have screens on my windows and I leave my window open a crack to get ventilation in my bedroom, I do have this weird like visual of like spiders crawling into my bed. I know. I'm sorry.
I can't even.
Okay, we're moving on. I'm gonna talk about my.
No, I'm saying like get the screens. Like you can't have critters just crawling in and out of your bedroom like you're, living under the overpass.
Yeah, she's completely avoiding the question. So, no. Anyway, my last and not final irrational fear is, I was talking to someone about this today, actually, like being wrongfully accused for something when you just you didn't do it. You didn't do it. And then you're sentenced to prison for life or for a long, that has got to be the ultimate horror. Seriously.
And
worse than
not to get too morose, and something that people deal with
this
for
is
real.
A thing.
Like this isn't just a nightmare for a lot of folks.
No, it's awful.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah.
Man.
I've had, I don't know. I've had every nightmare in the book because, I'm a crazy person, but there is, the idea that, this is actually probably the worst nightmare I've ever had, where it's like I did murder somebody in the dream. Like I did.
I think I've had that too. Yeah.
And I didn't point a gun or
sure.
like the violence part of it. It was just after the fact. Like
you knew you did.
The dream was that I had done this.
Oh, I've totally had this dream.
And I was sorry, and it was
you
a
were
mistake.
so guilty, and
But I was.
Yeah.
I was guilty. I did it, and I knew that I was going to go to get the death penalty.
Wow. Oh my God.
What the hell?
I know what that. Talk about that's not even just an anxiety dream. That's again beyond anxiety.
That's anxiety, but also
to the 100th degree.
Hey, girl.
Maybe you need to go talk to someone.
Maybe do a retreat. Do a little something up in.
Hey man,
in Ojai.
I think we should do a retreat episode where all we talk about is Zen things.
Zen things. Yeah, like what kind of sheep do you count when you're in bed at night?
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful if that's all we worried about?
Oh man, I've tried to do that. It's not helpful. You know what is helpful though? All of you who are part of our community. Everybody who watches and listens to the show, thank you so much. Love having you. We won't make this whole part long, but we do want to remind everybody that patreon.com/have such a good day is where you can find out so much more about the money that we're raising to keep the show afloat, and also expand the show and some of our goals that we have for ourselves and hopefully for all of us, and how you can be part of the community and have an easier line into Heather and I on a daily basis based on particular tiers that we've set up, and
get to know us a little bit more. We try to post stuff as much as possible. I mean, again, this is just a 2-woman ship that we're running here. So we're trying to kind of do everything each week. But we try to post and communicate as much as possible. So please reach out. Email us at hi@havesuchagooday.com. Please email us. We love getting emails. We love hearing from you guys. Anything. It can be a topic for us to discuss. You could just say how much you love or hate us. Anything is really welcome.
Yeah, right. We can take it.
We're just very lonely and we need more emails.
And truly, our the easiest and most affordable tier is $1 per month. Mm-hmm. That's $1 per month for 4 episodes per month. So that's a quarter per show. Payphones aren't even a quarter anymore. They're 50 cents last I checked.
Yeah.
So this is we think hopefully a service that is worth your $1 per month, and for $5, $10 and above, we have extra perks. So thanks in advance to everybody who supports us.
Thank you so much.
And even if you can't, or for whatever reason, you're just not ready yet, that's okay too. HaveSuchAGoodDay.com is our sort of
wonderful website.
Ground zero. Everything can be found there. Links to where you can find us on various podcatchers. If you want to tell a friend, great.
Yeah. We would love you forever, love you even more than we already love you, which is sort of hard to believe. But
I know we're just gonna love you so much. All right, so this is sort of my final topic for the show, Heather.
All right,
and boy, is it a doozy. Now, the New York Post is a little sensational.
Sure,
it's a little tabloid.
Not as bad as the Star.
It's not as bad as the Star, but it's sort of a gossipy, sometimes you take stories with a grain of salt type of a publication. Mm-hmm. However, I felt that this one was worth our few minutes, particularly because we're talking about terrifying things, and also because it is Halloween.
It is Halloween. It's so quiet out there
at the time of press.
I guess it's still kind of early.
Well,
yeah, it's
almost 7.
All right.
Yeah, I know. We're all trick-or-treaters. Huh. We were going to think that they would be all disruptive during our show. I guess nobody really wants to come to my house. Anyway, so New York Post had an article, and the headline alone is worth the price of admission. Woman who had sex with 20 ghosts is now engaged to a spirit.
Unbelievable.
Now, when you say, wait, hold the phone. What is happening? How do you have sex with any ghost? Because they're not actually flesh people, and then how do you get engaged to a ghost? So many questions.
How do you start a family with a ghost boyfriend?
Well, you don't. I think there's a lot. There's a lot going on up there. British woman claimed that she slept with at least 20 ghosts. Says that she's now engaged to a poltergeist. Correct.
It's awesome.
No, her name is Amethyst Realm.
Okay, well that explains a lot.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and just, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just going to guess that is not her government name at birth. Mm-mm. So Amethyst Realm is into the whole ghost thing. The story goes as follows. She was with a human boyfriend, a real person, and cheated on him with a ghost.
Okay.
And,
did he find out?
They broke up.
Okay.
Yeah, she came clean.
Okay.
I cheated on you with a supernatural being that isn't actually in our dimension.
I just wonder why he left her, if it was which reason?
I think probably because he's like,
you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like that's hard to relate. Mm-hmm. And since then, she decided that she actually preferred the company of ghosts rather than partners.
Okay.
Because they're less problematic. Huh. One might say a sex toy.
Or a sex doll.
Or right. Or I don't know, pornography, or I don't know, a good book, or lots of things that maybe provide, they hit certain things that, I don't know. It's such a weird story.
That is so I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Now and it goes on and on. So and we'll have these in our show notes so that everybody could read the story. But she's 30, so she's not old or super young.
Okay.
She's 30. Said that she met her ghost. This is her now fiance because they're engaged to be married. During a work trip in Australia. So I guess it was just a haunted place that she happened to be in.
Incredible.
Not at home, because that's
not on Tinder.
You're not just going to meet a ghost at home, just sitting around in your unhaunted house. You got to get out there.
You're not going to swipe right on a ghost, are you?
Well,
I mean, you're not going to see anything.
A ghost isn't going to use Raya, Heather. You have to be in the haunted place in Australia in order to meet the ghost.
Wow, this is shocking.
It's true serendipity.
I love this.
Anyway, apparently, they are now engaged to be married after the ghost asked her to marry him. It's a male.
Are they gonna have ghost babies?
I don't think they. I don't know. I guess if you have ghost babies, they're just more ghosts that aren't real.
Wow.
But then you don't have to convert one of your second bedrooms to a nursery.
I mean, that's true. And I mean, honestly, wouldn't this be so great if like life were like this? Like if these things did happen.
Yeah, if you were like, you know what? Hey, boyfriend of mine, you are so great. But this ghost situation
doesn't take up any space.
It's just
doesn't have
more
smelly
me.
feet. Yeah, it's more me.
I really wish you the best, and I hope we can still be friends. Anyway, so
that is a great story.
So good
Thank
old
you for bringing that to
Amethyst
the table.
Realm. God love you.
Good on you.
Please write us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com and let us know what ghost you've become engaged to and if the marriage has lasted.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, Amethyst. Well, speaking of scary things, continuing our theme, I know that you are not a huge horror buff. You're not a big fan.
You're talking
of the
about
old
like
horror movies. Yeah.
I used to like slasher movies when I was a kid because the thrill of being scared was fun. But like, I don't really have slumber parties these days anymore. So it's like, no.
And you don't watch horror movies by yourself.
No, because then I have nightmares.
I totally agree. In fact, I mean, I'm that way too. Last night I watched a Sam Raimi movie. When Sam Raimi is kind of campy. Did you ever see Drag Me to Hell? It actually was shot in Los Angeles on the east side, not too far from here. And it's cool. It's very campy. But I needed something. I needed that horror genre vibe last night, just because Halloween week or whatever. And it's not scary where I go to bed and feel freaked out. It's not
right.
There are certain movies that thrilling.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to watch the original Halloween, but I was a little worried I'd be a little like scared. I love the music. It's a little hokey,
scary.
but
it's a little scary.
It is scary. I think it's scary.
I would not have watched that. Like last night, that's not something I can handle by myself.
Me neither.
I would need like 2 people with me minimum.
I feel the same way. And so I thought about, I have all kinds of, I like to make lists. I have like, my favorite horror movies, which maybe I'll share those in the show notes this week, because I want to talk about the top 5 scariest movies that literally scared the living shit out of me.
All right.
And I'm sure there's a few more, but these are off the top of my head. These were the ones that just, to this day, I mean, I can't even watch them again. But however, I do appreciate them. I appreciate the decade that they were created. The 70s was, most of these are from the 70s, was a very prominent horror production time, which I think is very interesting. I think the whole, thinking about a decade where some kind of film genre was really prominent, I think is really interesting, because you think about what's been going on in the world,
and and maybe I don't know if this is like the right comparison, but how we're drowning in superhero garbage?
Well,
that was the horror genre in the 80s.
No,
where
it's
you were
totally
like,
true.
wow, Friday the 13th is like,
yeah,
we're on to like number 14.
Oh, totally. And no, it's true. And now is a bit like of a reality horror story with, our politics and just everything. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of horror movies right now. Anyway, so the top 5 scariest movies, in my opinion, Amityville Horror is probably number 1. It was a possessed house that looked like a pumpkin.
Right.
And
Amityville is a real place, I think, in like New England.
I think
right?
it is. Yeah.
And somebody on the East Coast Let us know. We're from California. We don't know.
And the way it was shot, you know, it's like all these non-actors and like this young girl who was, you know, that's what's so scary about some of those movies back then is they were just these, you know, like the woman who was in The Exorcist, which is my number two, Linda Blair. The Exorcist, I think, is literally one of the most amazing horror movies, but the most scary. I can't watch it again. It's too realistic. Very disturbing.
Very disturbing.
Anything that has to do with a priest, the church. I mean, most of these actually have that theme. The Omen. This is the 1976 Omen. With the kid,
not to be confused with the Julia Stiles Omen from 2007.
Was she in that one? I don't think
she was the mom. It didn't end well for her.
I try not to watch. I find some of the classics so sacred that I try not to watch the remakes because it ruins my imagination. But
the Omen. I to this day, and I mean, I know some Damians. And they're real nice, but I've got a problem with the name.
Oh, me too.
Because of the movie.
Oh, it's so true.
You know, like,
and that kid was a really good actor. I mean, he was really believable. He scared the shit out of me. Yeah, scary movie. When a Stranger Calls was a little less popular. I don't know if anyone remembers that one. It was when there was a babysitter and the there's someone like stalking her, and they realize that the call is coming from within the house, and it's this moment of like sheer terror because it's like at night.
Well, that's like one of the most like cliche like
it's
horror
so
things.
Cliche.
Like, the call's coming from within.
Oh my god! And when they say it, it's like that moment. It is serious. That's what makes it. The guy who is in the house
with a spider
is some random. No, it is. It's a guy like he's like crouching in the bathroom. He's like this weaselly looking guy that you've never seen act in anything else, and it's so funny. One of the things that I feel like about this time period is you think that you would find a VHS tape of one of these movies recorded, and it wouldn't have been a movie. Like it feels so real. That's what trips me out about these 70s horror movies is that it almost doesn't feel like there was a director's chair and a crane and a makeup artist.
And maybe there wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. It feels like it was a recorded occurrence.
Right.
And that's what makes it so good. These days, everything feels so produced that it's hard to have that suspension of disbelief. My final one is the original Friday the 13th. You know, Jason never really scared me all that much. It was more his mother. And the original Friday the 13th wasn't about Jason at all. In fact,
because the mom was the original killer.
Yep.
But then she got...
Oh, man. That woman, that actress, she scared me so much. I will never forget. It was like...
no, his name was Jason Voorhees. What was her name?
I don't remember.
It was something Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah,
I don't
remember.
Because remember, she was around in that first one. Yeah, she was...
She was real scary.
She kind of had denture looking teeth.
Yeah, she did. And she had that smile. She had that like creepy smile. But I remember it was on, did you ever watch the 8 p.m. Movies on Channel 2? And I shouldn't have watched it because I was really young. And I remember, I mean, I was at an age, I wasn't even in high school. I shouldn't have watched it. My mom wasn't really paying attention and I watched it and I was so scarred for life. I remember running out of the room screaming. Yeah, Mrs. Voorhees. That's on IMDb. That's what she's called.
Wow, so you don't even know what her name is. Maybe Diane.
She's so scary. Maybe see, looking
Diane
at her face,
Voorhees,
just
or
like
maybe Pam.
I'm just gonna have a nightmare tonight. She's
I
the
don't.
Scariest thing ever. Anyway,
Mrs. Voorhees.
All right, enough about that. But I have more lists to come in future episodes.
Heather, the only thing I'll say, and again, horror and what scares you is all very relative, and this is a good list. I'm surprised that The Shining is not on this list because The Shining is a pretty scary movie.
It is. It's very scary. I think it's a little more psychological for me than horror.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think there's a difference. Right. I love thrillers. I love psychological thrillers, but they just don't scare me like the horror. It's not the same. Yeah. It's like a subtle tweak in the genre that's, there's.
I got you.
Oh, for sure. I mean, seriously, The Shining is a brilliant scary movie, but
I bring it up only because it's even the idea of watching it.
I know
sends me to the hills.
Oh my God, I know. It's just
I'd rather do it. I would rather eat watermelon. And that's saying something.
All right. Well, now I know what to torture you with. The Shining and watermelon. I'm going to like tie you up and shove it in your mouth. That sounds really awful.
If I'm really bad, that's the way to give me a really bad time.
If I can't get you to do the newsletter, I'm going to feed you watermelon.
And watch The Shining.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Throw in some Clockwork Orange and we'll really have a party.
Exactly.
All right. So we're about to get into our bonus topic.
We are.
But for all of our regular folks.
Thank you for listening and watching and hanging out with us in our
thanks for listening and watching.
New environment here.
New environment. Sarah's new house. By the time you see it next time, which is probably about 2 weeks from now, because we'll be at Heather's house probably next week. Hopefully there'll be some more Samuel. Hopefully my cat won't try to sabotage the show as he does quite regularly. And if you want to become one of our $5 and more per month patrons, so it's just one $5 per month. Bonus topic is for you, and that's coming up next. Until then, see you next week. I'm Sarah.
I'm Heather.
And have such a good day.
Bye.